as is always the case, it's great to meet someone through business and see their professionalism and then become friends with them afterwards versus, hoping your friends are going to be good at business. So Gilberto is a partner in one of the most prestigious law firms in Panama, Patton, Moreno and Asvat. He specializes in real estate immigration and also asset planning and protection. He has done an exceptional job for many of our customers. And we have him on today to pick his brain because he's a man who knows many people and runs in many circles. So Gilberto, how are you, sir? Happy Friday.
I'm very good. Happy Friday to you too. Thank you for having me here again. It's a pleasure as always.
Yeah, it is a pleasure. It is a pleasure. So the idea for today, as you already know, so for the folks who are slowly joining us, of course, we do this every Friday, and we try to get some sharp minds to get some differences of opinions, thoughts, and feelings on what's going on. So, I'd like to start by asking you, how is business? What are you seeing in terms of activity? Whether that's, new people coming in, new businesses getting started. What are you seeing in your position as kind of the first guy that people often come to when they're coming into Panama?
Well, first of all, thank you, Kent. And it's always, it's an honor for me to be in this select group of persons you invite to your show. I mean, this is great, and it's good to connect with your people. You have great customer base. So.
Thanks.
What can I tell you? Panama is always busy, fortunately. So we always have work. I can tell you that real estate is picking up. Through my desk, you get to see all kinds of things. Recently, it's quite interesting. You would think it's only a buyer's market, but it isn't. We're seeing all kinds of deals, all sizes, and commercial, residential, mainly residential. But people that are willing to make aggressive offers, and some people who are taking them and some who aren't. And they're saying, listen, things are going to pick up. We can see things moving. And a lot of hearsay, of course, as always.
Sure.
My neighbor hasn't sold, she's got a lot of people interested, that kind of stuff. So that's a lot of movement. I can tell you that we still have a huge influx of foreigners coming into town.
Okay. Talk to me about those guys. Who are you seeing? What, any kind of countries or interest? Like, hey, Gilberto.
Yeah. Who's very popular right now are Canadians. Canadians are very popular.
Come on down.
Especially right now with all the cold, weather. So they're always and when we do Zooms, because obviously now all meetings are through Zoom, and they look at the background and they see the blue skies and they're like, yeah, this is where I want to go.
Oh man.
Yeah. So Canadians, a lot of still you have, of course, the gringos are always here. They're always knocking on the door.
Claro que sí.
It's easy for them. They feel comfortable. The English is a second language here. So we, of course, very recently been getting a lot more Europeans, Germans. Been seeing a lot of Germans lately.
I like Germans. Germans don't mess around. They just very direct to the point.
No.
We've found that if they come, they buy.
Yeah, they are prepared, and I give them the requirements, and I get them back the next day. I mean, really.
Right. Yeah, no, it's nice. And, I think that can be sometimes a little bit of a cultural challenge for Germans because it's almost polar opposites in terms of the spectrum of, like tranquilo versus right now, let's do it and perfectly detailed. So what are some themes that you're seeing from these guys, Gilberto, as far as the Canadians and the Europeans? Are they giving you any reason for their renewed interest in Panama?
Yeah, well, they now that they see light at the end of the tunnel with COVID, they're starting. A lot of people had put things into the back burner, waiting to see how it played out, and now you've got vaccinations going on everywhere, and now they're thinking, maybe I can get down to Panama in March or April, towards the end of the summer there, and look at some property, and I always tell them, you want to go see the places before you buy them. That's always one of my main recommendations. And it goes hand in hand with the immigration paperwork. Everyone is not
Sure.
coming to look at a second home. They're really looking to relocate here, which is
Yeah.
great for us. It's exciting to keep getting all of this interest from people wanting to come to my country. So it makes me very happy and very proud. And I love it when they want to get advice from great professionals like you, like me, like some of my colleagues in other firms, because they're going to get good service and they're going to get the right advice. So
And the right
like
experience.
yeah, they're doing their homework, so it's great.
Speaking of homework, and anybody that's watching this that's thinking about coming down to Panama, I'll share with you some advice that I've always given directly to clients, which is, you come down to Panama, you want to talk to as many people as you can. Obviously you pick one, maybe two professionals at the beginning if you want to kind of try out, one or two real estate agents, one or two lawyers to see how you like, and then you pick the right one and you stick with them. But my advice is, when you talk to these people, ask them this is more for expats talking to other expats, ask them what they miss or what frustrates them about, in this case, Panama, right? Because everybody's happy to say the good things that they like, but really what you need to do is uncover what you might not like about Panama. And guys, if you're just joining us, we have Gilberto Arosemena, partner with Patton, Moreno and Asvat, fantastic attorney who I've known for over a decade. Gets a lot of our business, and for good reason. He assists on real estate, immigration, asset planning and protection, works for a fantastic, really business-focused law firm that's been around for how many years? How old is your company?
40 years, man. 40
40
years.
years. Yeah, that's you don't survive. Hey, yeah. So we're talking real estate, we're talking Panama. So yeah, let's talk Panama macro for a little bit. What are you seeing here? What are you hearing here in terms of trends? And let's talk good and bad. But we'll start with good. What are you seeing on the street right now in terms of scuttlebutt? Gilberto runs with a lot of different folks. He's got friends everywhere, so he gets exposed to a lot of high-level conversations on politics within business, decision-making environments. He gets consulted on that kind of stuff. So what are you seeing, man? How's 2021 looking? What should we be watching for?
It's promising because, like I said, we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with COVID. We just got our third shipment of vaccines here. People are excited. They're behaving. You can see the numbers are going down, whereas numbers with businesses are going up. So I'm happy to say that we're still seeing a lot of interest from big companies looking to come here. You've got the local ones still, expanding and keeping to their plans. But the interesting thing, it's such a fan of different things of companies from different industries and services that are still looking to come here. So that's very positive for us. And even of course, as lawyers, it's great because we get to do a lot of work. Our desks are full.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? Yeah, the good guys, they always stay busy. And that's awesome. Let's talk about industries. Maybe you could share in the last 2 or 3 months the types of industries you've seen activity from, whether it's call center, travel.
Well, I'll tell you, maritime business is still moving here.
Sure.
We just recently did a big deal, a lease with 7 different jurisdictions, in the billions of dollars. That was done by a few of my partners, which is great, and had to do also with our London office. And we also had a huge aviation deal. One of my partners is an expert in aviation, probably the top person. She's awesome. She's a rock star. With numerous airplanes, big deal.
Yeah.
Banking, big deals, and big deals are coming with banks, in my opinion. Yeah, I think
like mergers or like new banks or
all kinds of stuff, man. All kinds of stuff.
Minds want to know.
Good times are coming in the banking business. It's going to be great for everyone. So we'll see some of that. What else? Well, like I said, you still have a lot of interest in real estate here. Not just, end user type, investment. I'm talking about development deals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're seeing that too, randomly. Like people are still very interested in acquiring land and building on it. Well, I
And I'll
mean,
tell you what, in not in the city, I'm talking about people are still now with COVID, it seems that they understand that some people are more interested in moving towards, the beaches, the mountains, and now with everyone working from home, or not everyone, but because I'm not, but a lot of people are working from home now, and it's going to be the new thing. So they're aware of that, and they're looking at satisfying some of those needs for people who want to live, a little away from the city, which is great.
sure. Yeah. No, we're same. It's interesting. You hit on kind of some of the really solid industries, whether it's maritime, banking, or transportation, logistics, in this case, aviation. And it's great to see that those sort of pillars of our economy are starting to heat up again. I mean, it's for those that don't know, Panama actually has a pretty diverse economy. It's not heavily dependent on one particular sector. I mean, transportation and logistics, specifically
That's right.
the canal, I think is, I don't know, the figures I saw, maybe like 15-20% of the GDP, but that's rolled up into all of the support services as well. You've got things like mining, of course, real estate and construction, and all of the, like infrastructure investment and development that happens with that. And also the services industry, that's
Right on.
services industry. So yeah, I can't really get into what all that's comprised of, but okay, awesome. No, that's good news, man. I mean, I'm glad to hear that you're seeing those trends, and would completely agree that, the interior of the country, whether that's the beaches, mountains areas, some of these secondary cities like, well, in our case, Pedasi, Santiago, are getting renewed interest from foreigners who say, yeah, you know what, city maybe not, although city's been cranking for us too. So what should people be watching out? All right, good. What should people be watching out for, Gilberto, on your end, as far as trends that are a little bit kind of disconcerting, like, hey, I'm a little worried about this. What are you watching?
Well, I think the main thing right now is unemployment, of course, because you had a lot of businesses that were closed a little too much for the lockdown, and you also had a lot of employees being suspended. I think that comes as with good and bad, because obviously some businesses have realized that maybe they don't need as many as employees as they did, and they can operate just fine.
Sure,
And
efficiencies.
obviously some employees that weren't suspended, put more on their shoulders, and it's what you got to do, right? You got to survive. So
yeah.
But on the other hand, one of the good things is, for example, the government just approved a new legislation where small business has certain incentives. So that's going to help a lot of businesses stay afloat. And also new businesses say, hey, now with these new incentives, let's do that one thing that we were thinking about doing it and we weren't sure. So it's good to see that the government is also realizing these things and is trying to help. So, and there are other things in the pipeline, I understand from the government, that's going to come in and help other businesses, other sectors to improve and continue to grow, of course. So there's many things. I mean, we have the EMA law, which is on manufacturing. So trying to attract companies to come in and manufacture here. And obviously you can tie that up with some of the other laws already in place. And that's what we do. We'll be looking at some of these clients that are starting to knock on the doors and say, hey, we've got this new law, and with your business, we can tie it up with this other law, and, combine the incentives and get it going for them. So their plans are better. And obviously that's good for everyone. It's good to have new companies. It's going to create more jobs, and it's going to give us lawyers and you guys as real estate brokers more things to do.
Amen. Rising tide lifts all ships. Let me say hello to some folks who are popping in, and also address some questions. I have some questions about what you were just saying too. But Cool. All right. We got folks checking in from cold. And Maria, I don't know how the weather is in Tucson. I know you guys just had a big cold snap up in America. So yeah, it stays warm and sunny down here in Panama, unless it's raining, but it's still warm. So yeah, appreciate you guys. Looks like we got Idaho on the line. Joburg, South Africa. Cool. Seattle. Hola. Mark Gilliland, Arizona, Rockstar, real estate agent. Gilberto, you actually need to connect with Mark. Mark, shoot Gilberto a line if you guys don't know each other. I think you have a lot in common.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple of questions. Maddie Marks from Santiago, the interior. First question is from Matt. Thank you. Business is reopening. Gilberto, what do you see, man? I'm seeing it, like definitely restaurants.
Well, we've got a lot of business reopening. We have people in the medical sector opening new things. We just worked with the client on a big structure, a couple of things with medical stuff. So that was really fun to work with, and it's going to be good for everyone here, all of us, foreigners and nationals. Obviously, you still have people opening restaurants. So that's, it's one of the things where restaurants, wow, after being locked down for so long and people are still, people got to eat. So
that's
why not open up restaurants?
Well, and there's some good deals on used restaurant equipment, and leases have come down too. Commercial leases.
You can't. I'm sorry.
Oh, shoot. I don't know what happened. Is it on my end?
No.
Nada. How about that? Any better? Nada.
But I'll go ahead and keep on talking until I hear you. But what other businesses we've got going? So you still have some multinational companies. They're still coming in. I don't remember what the number was, but we still have that coming in. With immigration, I can tell you, I've heard you speaking in previous Fridays about the red carpet visa. I can tell you we filed our first one very recently. So that was exciting to get a new client, a whole family, which is something else that's pretty interesting. Some of these immigration clients that are looking to relocate to Panama, they're not retirees anymore. They're younger people in their 50s with kids. And we're doing the whole one-stop shop thing, hooking them up with information on the schools for their kids, and obviously tying them up with real estate agents like yourselves about where they want to go, and a lot of those decisions that come with, we want to live near the school where our daughters are going to go to, and those kind of things. So that's been a lot of fun for me anyways, because it's really refreshing when you get to talk to these new clients, and it's a new type of client. It's not the usual client that was someone looking to retire in Panama or looking to invest in Panama. It's kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
So that's been
entrepreneurs.
Kind of fun.
Can you hear me?
Let's see. What else can I talk to you about? We've got some other of the younger crowd of clients looking to get legal advice now with the Ley de Sociedades de Emprendimiento, which is the entrepreneurship companies that was enacted last year, towards the end of last year. So that's been really popular with the younger techie crowds. So it's good to see now also a younger crowd, younger than usual, looking to get legal advice and getting their things in order, and being also quite ambitious. So that's very good to see.
Awesome. Hey, can you, Gilberto, licenciado?
What else can I tell you? I recently worked on a project which was extremely rewarding.
Segundo. Can you see the comments down there? Los comentarios. Unmute. You're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. But I don't think you can hear me. I hear you good. And everybody else
can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Right.
Okay, well, let's look at some of these foreclosures and opportunities for buyers. Oh, man. Mark, Good to hear from you, Mark. So foreclosures. Listen, that's an interesting question, and I'm gonna be I can't talk a lot about that, but there's gonna be a lot of that going on, and
You
more
think?
than the foreclosures, I think that there's gonna be voluntary foreclosures where some people who weren't fortunate enough to keep their jobs and have mortgages are going to sit down with their banks and agree to put properties on sale at a discount, or at least to cover the mortgage balance.
1 second. 1 second. Un segundo. Pausa. Pausa. Un segundo. So my thought on that is I'm actually seeing, I know you can't hear me, but they can hear me. I know you can't hear me, but everybody else can hear me. Anyway, I know that, check your WhatsApp. WhatsApp. You look WhatsApp. Everyone else can hear me, FYI. My thought on mortgage foreclosure is that the banks, much like Gilberto, are working with buyers right now. They are not, I'm not seeing a wave of foreclosures. I think Gilberto is right. There are going to be some opportunities in that market, but we're not seeing them impact the overall.
I'll hear you from my phone.
They can hear you, both of us. You just can't hear me.
Right. So I'll just hear you from the phone.
But I think there's going to be a big echo. Okay, so it's not going to be a traditional dialogue because Gilberto can't hear me. But crypto, I can talk about crypto a little bit, and I do want to do a specific sort of conversation with a crypto expert. But we absolutely have been doing deals in crypto. Panama is a few years behind on crypto, but that's actually, from what I understand from the crypto community, is actually an advantage, because that means that there's sort of an opportunity to operate, how can I say this, without a huge regulation, right? I mean, there's, if they're not talking about it, then you can sort of operate business to business, person to person on a transaction basis. So they're starting to talk about laws, but yeah, so I'm going to get an expert on crypto here on one of our conversations. But yeah, okay. So can you see? Let's see if Gilberto can answer this one. Gilberto, mira, he's chatting me. Oh, Facebook. Hey, mira, abajo, usted habla.
Okay. One of the rumors we heard on the Friendly Nations visa is that it might be getting canceled. I haven't been able to verify that, but you know, it would make sense that now with the red carpet visa, they would you know, change something with the Friendly Nations visa. So, you know, fortunately, no changes happened yet. We are still making applications with the Friendly Nations visa. So we're going to continue doing that until we get verification or confirmation that, you know, there's going to be a change in that. But for now, we're still doing it. I'm in the process of a couple of them right now. And, you know, it's a great visa option. So if you're looking at maybe making that application, I would say put the pedal to the metal. Let's do it. Let's get it done before any changes come. And if they do, then, you know, you still have other options. So I'd say let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's no time like the present. Totally. From Maria, about usted. But yeah,
I'm checking everything, guys. I don't know what happened with my computer.
It's fine.
I didn't touch anything.
It's cool.
Todo el mundo le escucha a él y a mí. What is the red carpet? Okay, great. Well, I think Kent is probably the one who made that, you know, titled it the red carpet visa. Was it you, Kent? I think you're the one responsible for that. I think it was you. So the red carpet visa is this new visa that was approved last year by the government together with immigration, which basically it's pretty cool because it's got different advantages now. So you don't have to be physically in Panama in order to apply for this visa, which grants you permanent residency. And basically, you can do a combination of three things. So you can either just rent or put money in a time deposit or make a combination of both. The thing is, for the first 2 years, the real estate or the time deposit has to be for a minimum amount of $300,000. And then after 2 years, it's going to go up to $500,000. So the idea is, let's get as many people in to take advantage of this amount now, and before it goes up to 500,000. So that's the thing, and basically the requirements are very similar to other things. You don't need to have a Panama company like with the Friendly Nations visa. So it's got different advantages, but feel free to email me and I'll give you all of the information.
Definitely. Yeah, agreed. And that's starting to bring in some people, guys. They announced it and then they created the laws. But Gilberto, let me take this one and then we'll get you to sound off. So best place to find foreclosure deals directly with the banks. We get a list. Sometimes they're kind of picked through already. Yeah, it's they're out there. Not as many as you would think, but they're definitely out there. Okay. Gilberto, what do you think about that?
So I don't think a golden visa for the moment. There's been a lot of talk about it for more than 2 years now, since the new government took over. It's an interesting thing. I know there's a project in place. It's been drafted. I was able to have a look at it. It makes a lot of sense. I think there's some debate, it's what I've heard, about what the amount would be. What's the appropriate amount? Like for some countries, you'll have a minimum investment for the golden visa of 500K. Other countries in Europe will say, you need $1 million and you get citizenship right away. And then you've got, other countries or Caribbean islands that will do with, 300,000 in real estate and 200,000 as a donation to the government. You've got different things. So there's a lot of competition, not really here in Central America. I think it's interesting to look into a golden visa. I would support it. I think it gives certain people that want to change, I don't want to go into details, but estate planning and stuff like that, and tax residency, those kind of things. So it becomes a little more complicated and detailed, but certainly it's something to look into for sure. I hope we do it. I hope we do it. Yeah.
So guys, if you're just now tuning in, I'm speaking with Gilberto Arosemena, who is a fantastic attorney. He would appreciate hearing that, but he can't hear me right now. So I'm going to answer this question. Are there overage surplus funds created after foreclosures if investors come in and buy properties for more than what was owed? So let me try to understand that question, but also give you some context about how the bank works in terms of regulation and being able to foreclose. So in Panama, at least, if let's say a bank has one property on their book for $200,000, right? That's the book value of the property. And maybe they owe $40,000 still on the mortgage. Well, according to Panama laws, the bank actually has to have the full liquidity of the property in order to foreclose. So that means the bank has to have 200 grand sitting on the side, not deployed in other investments, which is not that common, just having cash sitting there in order to foreclose. And that's been one of the other reasons that banks have not foreclosed on these listings, because they don't want to allocate cash just to foreclose. Now, I am seeing some secondary groups coming in, some private finance, to raise that money and essentially give it to the bank, allow the bank to foreclose, and then sell it to them, or otherwise trade, ownership, not trade, but yeah, sort of like a fusion, mixed ownership, or at least loan to the bank. Bank owns it, then it sells to them for some different amount. But As far as overages, I don't know what that means. Yeah. Okay, Joe. Gilberto, usted, abajo, por favor.
So you're going to give me all the hard questions, Kent? Really? Oh man, what can I tell you about the new government? You know, there's good and bad. I mean, you've got a lot of good people in good places, and you've got not so good people. I mean, you can already see, you know, some of the people that are really getting work in place, getting work done with the new government, certain sectors, certain ministries, certain institutions that are extremely efficient. Like for example, when you go to passports, dude, you're in and out in an hour. It's amazing. I mean, it's not cumbersome anymore. No waiting, nothing. It's great. You've got a lot of. It's really positive. You have a lot of things are now digital, and it was really accelerated with the pandemic. So you can get a lot of things done now online with all kinds of institutions and ministries. You know, with the Ministry of Commerce, you can get all kinds of things done. You know, the minister's done a great job there with some of those things. You can see a lot of work in certain things like some public works. And you can see, like, for example, I don't know if you've been on some of those webinars with Mr. Jose Alejandro Rojas, where you can tell that they're thinking of new ideas and new ways to generate more business in Panama. Definitely. And they're really, you know, some of these guys are listening and they're paying attention, and they like to hear advice from some of the people that are in the day-to-day business of some of these things. And then some others, you know, are a little more slow, and obviously you hear negative things every now and then, and everyone has different experiences. What I can tell you is, whether it's a new government or an old government, whatever, you know, just get the best advisors that are going to be able to guide you through these processes in the best way possible. You know, that's the thing.
Yep, right on. Well, listen, I think we're going to close up here, and we're going to say goodbye, just because the whole monologue thing is a little tricky. So, Gilberto, le voy a decir muchas gracias a usted. Ya nos vamos.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ciao, guys.